morning. Welcome back to my kitchen. This morning I'm going to prepare a brisket. This recipe is fairly simple, I think, and I think you'll enjoy it. I have a 6-pound brisket right here. Briskets have a lot of fat on them. They really do. And for this particular one, I'm going to go ahead and sear it first. There's a couple of ways that you can do a brisket on searing, especially on pretty much any meat. Usually I would be doing this out on my barbecue grill, and I have a regular area that is for searing of meat. That's one way. The other way is, yes, in the oven under a broiler, or what I'm going to do is use my electric skillet, and I'm going to sear both sides of this, getting it brown before I ever put it in my pan and begin this recipe of the brisket. So that's what I'm going to do first and foremost. My skillet is nice and hot, very, very, very hot. Put that down in here. Nice and hot skillet. And we want that fat to brown. Just a little bit. 6 pounds of brisket meat. I thank everyone for tuning in to my videos. I'm getting a real big kick out of some of you. You can also now watch me on YouTube. Hang on just a minute. Sorry about that. I get these spam calls every now and then. So I bought me one of those blockers for my landline phone. Hopefully that'll take care of it. I turned that just now because of the grease in the kitchen. I may want to go just a little bit more on this side. Anyway, I put all my videos on YouTube, Cooking with Carol Diane. So you can watch me there. You can even sit in the comfort of your home in the living room on your TV, if you have a smart TV, and watch my YouTube videos. You just have to sync it to your phone, and pretty much you just click on the icon of YouTube on your TV, and it'll walk you through the steps. It's real easy. And so you can sit there and watch me all day if you'd like to. My youngest son's girlfriend texted me early this morning and said that she just found out I was on YouTube, and now she can watch me on YouTube because she's no longer on Facebook. She didn't care for Facebook, and she got off of it several months ago. So she hasn't been able to watch my videos until now. So that's where I am. I'm 3 different places now: Facebook, YouTube, and my own website, cookingwithcaroldiane.com. And that's where you can find me with my videos. Also, I put little gadgets that I use in the kitchen on there for you to purchase if you want to go and purchase those and find them. And just kind of keeping you up to date, up to breast with what I'm doing with my cooking. I'm still working on my cookbook. I really am. I have 190 recipes that I have hand-typed into the computer to get on this cookbook. And hopefully I'll get that done before too much longer. Okay, so the brisket's looking real good with browning. Now while it's browning, I'm going to go ahead and show you what kind of a rub sauce that I'm going to make and put on this to go in a pretty good sized pan here. I'm going to stick it in this pan. The dead's done with the searing. So the first thing that you'll need is I use the onion soup mix, the Lipton onion soup mix. You want to take out 1 package of this. And put in just a mixing bowl of some kind. Add in there. And then you will need 1/2 cup, a half a cup of water to go with that soup mix. Just kind of give that a stir in there. And then what you'll need is, you're going to need 1 cup cup of this Heinz chili sauce. It makes it real good. It really does. This is a 15-ounce bottle, which will come to the 1 cup. Try to get all that good stuff in there. This chili sauce really does smell good. Okay. Stick that in there with get a rubber spatula here. I like to have a real thin one, but this one will work. Most of your seasonings are already in that onion soup mix. So you won't have to worry about chili powder or onion powder or any of that. You really won't. Give that a stir. Gonna go ahead and just flip it one more time here, making sure everything is nice and seared. You're not cooking the meat, you're just browning the outside of the meat. And then you'll need 2 stalks of celery. And you just kind of want to cut those up finely. Just bite size will be fine. This is going to go in this bowl right here. Kind of a gloomy day today, so I thought this brisket would hit the spot for dinner tonight. Now, I'm going to be cooking my brisket in the oven. Again, if I was doing this, searing it out on the barbecue, then I would probably put it in we have a Traeger smoker, and I would probably be putting into that to slow cook for several hours. But I'm going to go ahead and do mine in the oven today. Then I'm going to take 1 can of beer. Now, I've talked about this before on other recipes, but this is the reason why I asked my son, who does work for a beer distributing company, to find me a good beer with a lot of malt to it, a stout beer, and that's what I needed for this particular recipe. You take the beer, put the whole thing down in the sauce. Whole thing. My son doesn't drive the great big long semi trucks anymore. He had many years of doing that and lifting those great big boxes, you know, on the dollies to go into all the liquor stores and restaurants and different places that sell alcohol and all of that. And that can give you a hernia after a while, and it did. And it did. So now he's the salesman for the company and moved on up in the company, and he's doing just fine. Just fine. So he gets me all kinds of stuff like this when I ask him, would you find me the good beer? And oh yeah, he came up with that. Okay, now I'm going to take the great big piece of meat and put it in my pan. And I will go ahead and set this out of here just so it doesn't keep sizzling and making noise. Okay, so now it's in my pan. I'm putting my oven at 250 degrees. This is going to slow cook. This is a 6-pound piece of meat, and I'm going to cook this for probably a good 5 hours. I really am. I'm going to go ahead and take a meat thermometer that I will stick in the side here, just down in the biggest part of the meat and the fattiest part of the meat. I want to get that meat tenderizer in there. I mean the meat tenderizer, the meat thermometer in there. Then I'm going to take my rub now, and I'm going to pour that all on the meat. Don't worry about those juices on the bottom at all. It'll be fine. Like I said, this is going to slow cook. Slow cook. pretty much for a big part of the day today. Then I'm going to take a regular medium-sized onion, cut it in half, and we just want little strips of this. So cut them fairly thin with your knife. And then I like to take and just kind of separate. You can see all this. I just want to come and take and separate the onion slices. If you have a large onion, go ahead and use a large onion. It doesn't really matter. I usually buy just a medium onion, unless I'm doing great big hamburgers. And then I'll go ahead with a great big onion. I'm using just a yellow onion, which is more of a sweet onion. I like yellow onions. And you just kind of put this all over the meat. All over. Making sure the top part has a lot of the onion flavor to it. You aren't going to be turning this meat. You're going to be putting it in there, walking away, leaving it alone for 5 hours. Your thermometer of the meat thermometer needs to reach about 195 to 200. I'm going to let mine go until it reaches 200 before I ever take it out of the oven. You can just sprinkle these down on the bottom of the other half. It's going to give it a nice flavor in here. Nice flavor. So I will pop this in my oven. It's already at the 250. And because this meat thermometer, all it does is hang out the side of your oven, I can set it right here on my counter, and periodically I can look at that and make sure, you know, are you coming close to that 195, 200 degree temperature, or do you have, you know, a little bit more to go? Give or take, like I said, on your oven, because everybody's oven is different. But 250 for 5 hours on a 6-pound brisket, and we'll see how that turns out. I'll be back on when I've taken it out of the oven to show you what it looks like and how to slice this brisket, and maybe whatever I'm going to put with it. I have no idea yet what I'm going to put with it. I started this morning just out with the brisket, so I'll catch you after a little while. It's done, and I'm so excited. I can't even tell you what it smells like in my kitchen right at this moment. It just has been wonderful. It didn't take quite 5 hours, and that's all right. It took 4 hours to get it up to the 200 degrees, and I'm thrilled with that. It's like when you go outside and somebody in the neighborhood is barbecuing and you can smell the barbecue sauce and everything. Well, that's kind of like what it smells like in my kitchen right now. It's just fantastic. I don't know if I can get that close up. I took a picture of it to show you at the very end. But this brisket, wow, it really looks good. You can add a little bit more salt and pepper. I brought out my husband had a birthday recently, and one of my kids got him this cute little set, and it ties in with my beer. I didn't use the Bud Light beer, but I did use beer for this recipe. So I let mine sit for a good 15 minutes after it came out of the oven. The pan still has lots of nice juices. You can see all that down in there. Oh my gosh, these juices in this pan, which I can put through a sieve and get rid of the bulky part as far as the celery or any of the onions and stuff that drip down into the pan, and I can just use the sauce and put, or I can take the whole thing just like it is and put on there, whichever way I want to do it. But so anyway, yeah, I let it sit for a good 15 minutes out. And rule of thumb is that you're to let the meat sit even longer than that, sometimes even 30 minutes. But you know what? I think this is going to be just fine for my husband and I tonight. And oh gosh, yeah, that looks really, really, really nice. It really does. Now, brisket, like I said, is kind of a fatty meat. It really is. And more firm of texture of the meat. If I can get a good, I don't know if I can get that in the camera that well, but that's what it looks like. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I think we're gonna like this. I really do. I really think I'm gonna like this. And to take just a little sample bite here. Yep, I think I'm gonna enjoy this meat. I don't normally like a brisket because of the firmness of it. You know, it's just a tougher meat and I don't like that. The chili sauce on this doesn't taste like chili at all. The chili sauce combined with the onion soup mix and the beer made this moist and good. Really, really nice. So I hope that my little brisket with beer recipe you go out and make and enjoy, whether you do it like I did in the oven or whether you put it on your barbecue grill. Maybe you have a slow cooker as far as a crock pot you could put it in. Mine just wouldn't go in the crock pot. It was just too big, even though I have kind of a large crock pot. It just wasn't going to go in there. Or maybe you have a Traeger, some kind of a smoker outside that you want to use for your brisket. The main thing is to use the ingredients of what I did, and I think you'll like this. I really do. Like I said, wow, the smell is very, very nice. From my kitchen to yours, go make yourself a brisket today. Have a grand day. I'll catch you later on Cooking with Carol Diane. Bye-bye now.